The Way of Samurai Zen, Ancient Wisdom for Modern Challenges. In the dead of night, a lone samurai sits motionless in a dimly lit temple. His breathing is barely perceptible, his mind as still as the ancient stones beneath him. This is not preparation for battle. This is the battle itself. A battle not fought with swords, but with the mind. This is Zen. The year is 1575. And while armies clash across Japan's war-torn landscapes, some of the most powerful samurai are seeking a different kind of power, one that can't be gained by the sword. They're discovering that true strength lies not in the ability to take life, but in the ability to fully understand it. Picture yourself in medieval Japan, where the most feared warriors spend hours sitting in complete stillness, eyes half closed, barely breathing. It might seem strange. Why would these master swordsmen choose to sit quietly when they could be practicing their combat skills? The answer lies in a philosophy so profound that it continues to captivate minds around the world today. This is the story of how Japan's most formidable warriors found their greatest weapon not in their swords, but in the practice of Zen. Imagine a philosophy so simple yet so deep that it can transform a warrior into a sage, a moment of chaos into perfect clarity, and a cup of tea into a profound lesson about existence itself. This is what the samurai discovered in Zen, a path that showed them that the greatest battles are fought not on blood-soaked fields, but in the landscape of their own minds. But what exactly is Zen? To understand it, we need to first forget everything we think we know about religion and philosophy. Zen isn't about memorizing ancient texts or following complex rules. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's about unlearning, about stripping away the unnecessary until only the essential remains. Consider this famous Zen story. A scholar comes to a Zen master, eager to learn about Zen. As they sit down for tea, the master begins to pour into the scholar's cup. The cup fills, but the master keeps pouring. Tea spills over the rim, across the table, and onto the floor. The shocked scholar cries out, "Stop! The cup is full!" The master replies, "Like this cup, your mind is full of your own opinions and speculations. How can you learn Zen unless you first empty your cup?" This story perfectly captures the essence of Zen. The idea that true understanding comes not from accumulating more knowledge, but from clearing away the clutter in our minds. For the samurai, this wasn't just a nice philosophical idea. It was a matter of life and death. Take, for example, the legendary samurai Tsukahara Bokuden. In the heat of battle, a moment of hesitation or a mind clouded with fear could mean instant death. Through Zen training, he learned to empty his mind of all unnecessary thoughts, achieving a state called mushin, no mind. In this state, his actions flowed naturally, without the interference of fear, doubt, or conscious deliberation. But Zen's influence on the samurai went far beyond improving their fighting skills. It transformed their entire approach to life and death. In an era where violent death was a daily reality, Zen offered something revolutionary, a way to face death not with fear, but with calm acceptance. Consider the words of Yamamoto Tsunetomo, author of Hagakure, the famous manual of samurai ethics. The way of the samurai is found in death. This might sound morbid to modern ears, but through the lens of Zen, it takes on a different meaning. It's about living each moment fully, without attachment to life or fear of death. The practice at the heart of Zen is deceptively simple. Just sit. This is called zazen, or seated meditation, but don't be fooled by its simplicity. For the samurai, sitting in meditation was often more challenging than facing an enemy on the battlefield. In combat, they could act, react, move. In zazen, they had to confront something far more formidable, their own minds. One of the most powerful examples of Zen's influence on the samurai comes from the life of Date Masamune, the legendary one-eyed dragon of northern Japan. Despite losing an eye to smallpox as a child, he became one of the most successful warlords of his time. His secret? The Zen practice of turning disadvantages into advantages. When most samurai would have seen the loss of an eye as a devastating weakness, Masamune's Zen training helped him see it differently. He learned to use his limited field of vision to develop an almost supernatural awareness of his surroundings. As his Zen master taught him, In the darkness of physical limitations, the light of wisdom shines brightest. But Zen's influence on the samurai wasn't limited to warfare. It transformed every aspect of their lives, from how they poured tea to how they arranged flowers. Take the art of calligraphy, for instance. For a samurai, drawing a perfect circle with a brush wasn't just an artistic exercise, it was a manifestation of Zen principles. The circle, or enso, had to be drawn in a single fluid motion. Any hesitation, any attempt to correct or perfect the stroke would be immediately visible. It was a perfect metaphor for the samurai's life. Act with complete commitment, without hesitation, without attachment to the outcome. The result might not be perfect in conventional terms, but it would be authentic, a true expression of the present moment. This brings us to one of the most fascinating aspects of Samurai Zen, the concept of Ichigo Ichi, one time, one meeting. This philosophy taught that each moment is unique and will never come again. Whether sharing a cup of tea or facing an enemy in battle, the samurai learned to treat each moment as if it were both the first and the last. Consider the tea ceremony, which many samurai studied as part of their Zen training. The simple act of preparing and serving tea became a profound practice in mindfulness. Every movement had to be deliberate, every gesture meaningful. The same focus required to perfectly whisk green tea into foam was the focus needed to execute a perfect sword stroke. But perhaps the most surprising aspect of Samurai Zen was its emphasis on peace of mind in the midst of chaos. Take the story of Hosokawa Shunso, a powerful daimyo who was also a devoted Zen practitioner. During a crucial battle, his castle was surrounded by enemy forces. While his advisors panicked, Hosokawa calmly sat down to compose poetry. His followers thought he had lost his mind, but his clear-headed leadership ultimately led to victory. This wasn't mere stoicism, it was the practical application of Zen training. Through years of meditation, samurai like Hosokawa learned to maintain perfect clarity even in life or death situations. They discovered that true power comes not from fighting against chaos, but from finding stillness within it. The samurai also learned from Zen that the greatest battles are often won without fighting at all. This might seem contradictory for professional warriors, but it aligned perfectly with Sun Tzu's famous maxim that supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. Zen taught them to see beyond the obvious, to understand that true victory often lies in avoiding conflict altogether. This wisdom is captured in the story of a master swordsman who was challenged by a brash young samurai. Instead of accepting the duel, the master suggested they meet on a small bridge the next morning. When the young samurai arrived, he found the master already on the bridge. As he stepped forward to draw his sword, the master simply threw his own sword into the river. "This is how you win without fighting," he said. The young samurai, moved by this demonstration of true mastery, became his student. What would those ancient samurai think if they could see how their practice of Zen has transformed and spread across the modern world? Today, in sleek corporate offices from New York to Silicon Valley, executives practice the same mindfulness techniques that samurai once used to prepare for battle. The principles that helped warriors maintain clarity in life or death situations are now helping people navigate the complexities of modern life. But here's what's truly fascinating. While the setting has changed dramatically, the core challenges remain surprisingly similar. Just as samurai faced uncertainty and pressure in their time, we face our own battles in today's fast-paced world. The weapons have changed from swords to smartphones, but the need for mental clarity and emotional balance remains as crucial as ever. Consider this. When Steve Jobs designed Apple's minimalist aesthetic, he was directly influenced by Zen principles he learned during his visits to Japan. The same philosophy that taught samurai to eliminate unnecessary movements in sword fighting taught Jobs to eliminate unnecessary buttons from the iPhone. It's no coincidence that some of Silicon Valley's most innovative companies now offer meditation rooms and mindfulness programs to their employees. But the influence of Samurai Zen goes far beyond the corporate world. Take the modern American military, where mindfulness training derived from Zen practices is being used to help soldiers maintain clarity under pressure and deal with post-traumatic stress. The same techniques that helped samurai face death with composure are now helping modern warriors process their experiences and find inner peace. The samurai's emphasis on mindful movement has also influenced modern athletic training. NBA players practicing being in the zone are essentially seeking the same state of mushin no mind that samurai achieved through Zen training. When Michael Jordan described being in the moment during crucial games, he was unknowingly echoing the words of ancient Zen masters. But perhaps the most profound legacy of Samurai Zen is its approach to dealing with failure and adversity. In today's world, where success is often measured in likes and shares, the Zen perspective offers something revolutionary: the idea that true success lies not in avoiding failure, but in how we respond to it. Remember the Zen master's teacup story? Today's version might involve a stressed executive with an overflowing email inbox, learning that sometimes the solution isn't to handle more, but to empty our cup, to clear our mind of clutter and focus on what truly matters. This brings us to a crucial question. How can we apply these Samurai Zen principles in our own lives? The answer lies not in dramatically changing our daily routines, but in changing how we approach them. The samurai learned to turn every activity, from maintaining their swords to arranging flowers, into a meditation. We can do the same with our daily activities. Start with something simple, like drinking your morning coffee. Instead of scrolling through your phone while automatically sipping, try approaching it like a samurai would, with full attention and presence. Notice the warmth of the cup, the aroma of the coffee, the taste as it touches your tongue. This isn't just about enjoying coffee more. It's about training your mind to be fully present in each moment. Or take a more challenging example, dealing with conflict. When faced with a disagreement, instead of immediately reacting, remember the samurai who learned to find clarity in chaos. Take a breath. Create space between the trigger and your response. This isn't about suppressing emotions, but about responding from a place of wisdom rather than reaction. The beauty of these practices is that they don't require you to become a Buddhist or renounce modern life. Just as the samurai integrated Zen principles into their warrior lifestyle, we can integrate them into our modern lives. The goal isn't to escape our daily challenges, but to meet them with greater awareness and composure. In the end, the most powerful lesson from Samurai Zen might be this: true strength lies not in dominating others or even mastering external circumstances, but in mastering ourselves. In a world that often feels like it's spinning out of control, this ancient wisdom offers a path to finding stability within ourselves. As we've seen throughout this journey, the way of Zen transcends time and culture. The same principles that helped samurai face death with composure can help us face our daily challenges with greater clarity and peace. The question isn't whether these ancient practices are relevant to modern life, but whether we're ready to embrace their transformative power. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Samurai Zen. If you found value in these ancient wisdom teachings, please support our channel by subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up. Together, let's continue discovering the timeless insights that Japan's rich cultural heritage offers to our modern world.